WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. This might be a little bit exotic and rare for me. This is Three Chords, strange collaboration. Strange is the name of the vineyard, not because it's a little bit of a weird thing. And this is a premium craft spirit. I'm always worried when the word premium craft and spirits is off the bottle or on the bottle. The Power of Three, perfectly tuned taste. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in Pinot Noir barrels. Okay, so they get the barrels from their vineyard in California, and it gets a 3-month finish in there. So the Power of Three, we have here a musician. We have Neil Giraldo. So he's on the back of the bottle here. Maybe signed it, maybe not. And we have the Power 3. A chord is if you've ever played a guitar or have any piano lessons, you know what a chord is. And their chord is flavor. Their chord is structure. And their chord is finish. All right. So now the first thing we have to talk about is flavor. Where do they get their whiskey? So this whiskey comes from Green River Distilling. It is basically a 2 to 3 year old product. And there's 5 to 6 year old Barton 1792 whiskey in here, bourbon. Now, the thing that I don't understand, I might not just be reading the regulations of whiskey correctly. They're sometimes difficult. That artificial cork is really, really strong here, a very tight fit. Is if it's a 2 to 3 year old whiskey, a bourbon, where's the age statement? Anything under 4 years old, it says straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey finished in. Now that last part, that finished in Pinot Noir casks, might be the reason. As soon as you write finished in, it's no longer Kentucky straight bourbon. So you didn't have to write down 2-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon finished in Pinot Noir. So you just have to write down it was a bourbon, Kentucky. Does it say straight? It does say straight bourbon. So I don't know. I think the 2-year-old age statement should be on this bottle. Or we have to assume that they took only 4-year-old, and everything I read online is absolutely then wrong, and use 4-year-old whiskey in here. Can someone help me with that rule and regulation? As soon as finished in, no matter, doesn't matter with the age statement on the straight bourbon. So who knows? All right, so it's 3 months in French oak Pinot Noir casks. So the second thing that they claim here is that they have a very unique proprietary toasting process. All right, so what they do is our handcrafted bourbon is steeped in tradition, yet revolutionary, using a proprietary blending process to finish our whiskey by, and this is the thing that they talk about, by heating American oak to precise temperatures to release specific flavors and aroma compounds. All right, so what is that called? That is called pyrolysis. And it's very interesting. It says here, I'm reading from Wikipedia, pyrolysis is most commonly used in the treatment of organic materials. It is one of the processes involved in charring wood. So isn't everyone doing that? In general, pyrolysis of organic substance produces volatile products and leaves char. Okay, every bourbon has to be charred. And a carbon-rich solid residue. All right, very, very good. I'm a little confused that they say they have a proprietary special temperature that they do these things with. Now, on one of the web pages I saw, they have a heavily toasted level 4. I did not know that we had char levels, or that we charred levels. I know that we have toasting levels, so they have a toasting level 4 and a char level number 1. So it's lightly charred, but very, very heavily toasted. Now, toasting actually is where the flavor comes from, according to International Stave Company and all the experts there. And so that's very good that they do that. Now, this costs $50. One person compared it to an Angel's Envy that also costs $50 from a port wine cask. Which one I'd rather have? Probably the Angel's Envy. What am I going to compare it to? For me over here, this is something fairly new. This is Davis County. This is 96 proof. This is 99 proof. So this is 48%. This is 49.5%. And this was in a Cabernet Sauvignon casks here finished. All right, so I did not like this. I did a video about this already, and every time I drink it, it's like at the beginning, okay, 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 and then I keep on, then I swallow and it's just, "Ugh." It's a bitter type of herbal type of woody extract moment that I just don't like. This is one of the whiskeys that I personally do not like. The French oak from Davis County is good. I remember talking about this. This was 59 euros. So what do? I go out and buy something for 72 euros. That's what this bottle basically cost here in Germany with the shipping, with the excise tax, and so on. So we know that this is Kentucky, but they also, Three Chords, they don't have their own distillery. They don't have, they basically buy Kentucky whiskey or Tennessee whiskey or Indiana whiskey, or, and I've never heard of this before, someone proudly presenting whiskey from North Carolina. They buy those whiskeys, they bring it up to Michigan, and they put it in their cask, and they actually then finish it there and bottle it in Michigan. And that's what they're talking about, fine-tuned in Michigan. On the back, it actually says here, distilled in Kentucky, perfectly tuned in Michigan. All right, good bottle, nice size, heavy, heavy, heavy bottle, thick, nice, well done, good labeling and all that. I like the design, I like the feel, I like the even the color. Now, some of you may say, Jason, you can't compare a bourbon matured in a Pinot Noir with a bourbon matured in a Cabernet Sauvignon. Those are two different wines. Look at the color, almost the same for me. Yes, you might be right, but I don't have anything else here. I don't have another bourbon matured in a Pinot Noir cask. Question of the day, what other bourbons have you had or do you know of that have been finished, matured in wine, red wine barrels? Now, you can't mature a bourbon, but what type of American whiskey? It can be rye, it could be a corn, it could be wheat, it could be a bourbon, it could be a malted rye, it could be something else for all I care. What type of whiskey from the U.S. have you had that maybe had some type of red wine cask influence? Write that down in the chat. I'm going to learn from you, and that's very, very, very good. And thank you very much for your participation and your information. Good. On the nose. I am getting a red currant, a not yet ripe red currant. I'm getting a little bit of raspberry and vanilla. I'm getting a little bit of a wood chocolatey moment. I think I'm getting the French oak. French oak is always for me a little bit of dark chocolate. I'm not even really sure I'd recognize this as bourbon. If someone would have said, hey, this is a red wine finished Irish whiskey, I would have went, okay, maybe. It just doesn't have that typical bourbon moment to it yet. That corn sweetness, that tobacco, that pecan, and so on. That red wine changes us a little bit. Over here, I prefer this much better. The wine influence is there, but less, and the sweetness of the corn shines through. This feels much, much smoother, rounder, a little older as well. So on the nose, the Davis County would win. Now let's try this. Cheers. This is one of those whiskeys that I'm going to say is a solid C. Why? There's nothing wrong with it, but there's no moment of, oh, I want to try this again. There is that red currant moment in there. There is a little bit of that raspberry plum cherry moment, that red fruit going on there. And it has a little bit of white pepper spice as well towards the end here. It's balanced. It is finely tuned. I must admit that. But it's not tuned to my palate. This is a whiskey I can take it or leave it. It's a, yeah, no, don't, nah. Would I buy it again? Never. Would my hand gravitate towards to pour something again? Probably not. My hand gravitates to Woodford Reserve, Double Oak. My hand gravitates to the bottle Wow, Elijah Craig. My hand gravitates to Booker's. My hand gravitates to a lot of things. Lot 40 rye whiskey. But my hand would not gravitate towards this one. This is okay, but it's not really anything to write home about. Good. 49.5% alcohol ABV, 99 proof. Hey, why not? Over here, our Davis County Lex Row Distillers. This is sourced whiskey as well. And the finished in Cabernet Sauvignon. Cheers. This whiskey, towards the end, abuses my taste buds. I don't know how else to say it. Every time I drink this whiskey, it's like, do I really have to do it again? There's a bitterness. There's something in here that just reacts with my taste buds, and it's just like, it's almost like fingernails on a chalkboard. It's that bad. I know people that love this whiskey. I have a few friends in Germany that tried this and said, Jason, this is great. And every single time I try it, it's like this, and then it's like, and it's just, that bitterness, that tartness, it's oak, concentrated tannins. It's everything about a whiskey that I really don't like together here at the end. Now, the French oak from the Davis County is actually not bad. I like that over oakiness of the French oak, but I don't like the Cabernet Sauvignon for some reason. It might have to do with the wine. I love Cabernet Sauvignon. I drink it monthly. All right, I can't say weekly, but monthly almost. I have a bottle to meals and so on. I'll drink a good Cabernet Sauvignon from Australia, from South Africa, even from South America, sometimes even California if I'm going to spend a little bit more. All right, we don't make good Cabernet Sauvignon in Germany over here. Maybe something from France or from Spain or something like that. Now this is a solid whiskey. This is a C. On a good day, a C+. Value for money, $50, 72 euros. It's in America, it's a C-, and in Germany, it's definitely a D. This is not something I'd go for again. It's sourced. It has a story. Now, Three Chords have a blended bourbon whiskey, which I think is interesting. 12-year-old Kentucky, Indiana, and Tennessee whiskey together. They have a 12-bar reserve, which have a limited release with different proof ranges. They have an amplified rye whiskey. And I just hate it when they say here, features the grain-forward, almost grassy character of a young Kentucky rye. Ooh, I don't know about you. I've had the grassiest of the ryes I think I've had in the last couple of months would be here, the Ranger Creek 44 rye. Texas rye, very, very green, very, very grassy. Some people really like it. I don't. And then we have the strange collaboration here with our 99 proof. We have our 2 to 6 year old whiskeys in here. And then you have a whiskey drummer, never heard of that one. And they even have a 85 proof Tennessee straight whiskey in a bottle that looks a little bit like this instead of the bottles that they have here for this. All right, so Three Chord, it's something you can try. It's something you should have on your radar. It's something you should try before you buy. But I don't know if you're going to taste this bottle and go, wow, this is some of the best stuff I've had ever. At least I can't say so. I'm going to say, oh, this is some interesting whiskey that is solid. And if you can live with solid, hey, go for it. Go buy it. Try it. My recommendation is try it before you buy it. All right. Once again, my question of the day is, what type of whiskey from the USA do you have you had or do you know of that was matured or finished in red wine casks? Thank you very much. See you soon. WhiskyJason here. Like, subscribe, tell others, maybe even share this video. Thank you, Three Chords. All the best.